yeah, I gotta do this. Hopefully it stays. It was working a few minutes ago. Uh, 1 second. There we go. Welcome to my channel. My beautiful beings of light, welcome back. It's been a few days. I haven't been here. The last time I was here was Saturday. And somebody, I don't know, my life was just totally, was not, my life was cut off. So I keep it moving. I don't, it is what it is at the end of the day. I just, it is what it is. And I just leave it like that. But I'm here. I'm back. I'm not gonna do no reading, no cards, no nothing. I really don't want to talk about that. I really want to talk about kindness, compassion, oneness. We all one. We all came from God. We all came from one divine being. And the purpose was not to hurt one another. That was not God's goal. But there is dark and light in everything. But the goal is to go back to God. I was reading, and I just finished reading the Dalai Lama, who is very, very compassionate. There were some key things that I wanted to read to you guys about the Dalai Lama, because I think not only as um, I think every group, every religion, every culture, every race, every ethnicity would gain something from learning about kindness, compassion, understanding, leading from a space of love. And all religions and all cultures it teaches, but I think the Dalai Lama, I think the Tibetan Buddhists, I feel, I don't know, it has a different tone. And maybe I need to go deeper into other ones. And I will learn about Islam. I will learn about different, because that's who I am. I just don't take one group and just I'm all this. No, I'm not. I'm universal. I'm a universal being. I am connected to everything that is. I am righteousness. I am truthful. I am honest. I am loyal. I am connected to the Most High God. And I want other people to also see the beauty in being loving and compassionate and understanding and not hurtful towards other beings. So I want to read what I wrote. And I'm sending prayers for everybody, sending prayers to those. I think there was a, a flight that went down, an airplane that went down the other day. Sending prayers to those families who lost their loved ones. I think it was in Brazil. Sending them love. I think it was a Brazil doctors. I think it was 61 doctors that was lost. Um, yeah, it was 62 people. 62 people. Their job is saving lives. 8 doctors. I thought they would tell me it was all 61 doctors, 62, and it wasn't. It was 8 cancer doctors, 2 kids, and a lawyer. Well, my condolences to those who lost people in that plane crash. We gotta pray for one another. We gotta stay united with one another. We got to um, be peaceful to one another. We have to have compassion with one another. And when I started reading from the Dalai Lama, page 196, I was, look at the kids, even the kids. You can even teach the kids. Start off the kids, having them pray when they're little kids, teaching them how to meditate, teaching them about kindness, teaching them about love, teaching them about just being, just being in a space of oneness with the Most High, just being at peace. This is the most beautiful thing you could ever see a child do, is being in prayer and them understanding. Being peaceful. Just want to bring out some key points about the teachings and the leadership of the Dalai Lama, because I think it's very important at this time. The Dalai Lama's plea to us is to bring our spirituality, the full richness and simple wholeness of our human values, to bear upon the course of science and the direction of technology in human society. In essence, science and spirituality share the same end, which is the betterment of humanity. At its best, science is motivated by a quest for understanding to help lead us to a greater flourishing and happiness. Similarly, spirituality is a human journey into our internal resources. The aim to understanding who we are in the deepest sense, and of discovering how to live according to the highest possible idea. This is to the union of wisdom and compassion. Page 96, I'm sorry. This was a person who went on a journey herself, who wrote this book, as a matter of fact, Ginger Chen. I found this book to be very, very inspiring, and I thank the author and I thank all those who took part in this project, because it really, I know for me, I got a lot of clarity. I got a lot of sense of how God wants us all to be, especially leaders. When if you want to be a leader, if you want to do good in your world, in your community, coming from a space of compassion and understanding and love for humanity and for our environment, for our children, is very important. She goes on to say, I started attending the Dalai Lama's teaching, reading his books, and photographing the Tibetan diaspora on behalf of the Tibet Fund. About the same time, I was engaged by a European organization to develop a leadership and team building program. No doubt are questions. No doubt there are questions. How can a Tibetan monk, albeit the Dalai Lama, no matter how much he identifies himself as a fellow human, being a model for a good leader, the Dalai Lama presents a valuable alternative leadership style. Under his leadership, the Tibetan diaspora have built sustainable and prosperous communities over 6 decades in exile. The United Nations have cited the Tibetan refugee community as model refugee communities. The Tibetan culture has been preserved over 3 generations. The Dalai Lama has successfully introduced modernity to the ancient culture, Tibetan culture of he has successfully democratized the exiled community with the introduction of constitution and elected political leaders. He has created schools for the Tibetan children, steeped in Tibetan culture. He has modernized the monastic education by introducing mathematics and science as he sponsored the nuns so that they too can acquire the highest level of Buddhist education on par with the monks. Monastic populations have increased in India, and once again, monks and nuns from the Himalaya regions are studying together. How did he help foster this success? The Dalai Lama didn't study being a leader in the modern world, nor did he develop a grand strategy and present his agenda through a PowerPoint presentation. The Dalai Lama came to develop his ideas organically. He learned on a small scale from experts in their field and from observing his people. Observing his people to have their own voice. Critically, critically, he doesn't need to see immediate results and give people time to think and to experiment. This is a very powerful way to lead. After successfully leading the Tibetan diaspora to their phenomenal accomplishments, he could have faded away, but that didn't happen. He has a grand global design. He is not bound by generations, nor does he focus on one group of people. He makes it universal. This is why I love his teachings. He tirelessly devotes himself to helping us through his teachings. But he always tells us we must find our own way. He gives us a space to explore and to make mistakes. He trusts us that we will figure out how to live a life of enduring happiness. This is what God wants for each and every one of us, to find our own way, to find our own path, but to find it in a way of love, compassion, understanding, with joy, with happiness, building communities, helping our children as well. The Dalai Lama resilience and his profound trust in humanity to embrace universal responsibility and global peace is explan- ex- explanatory. I don't know how to. I have a cold, so please. I am going through an ascension. It's a very powerful ascension, and I am feeling it, and I'm going through it. So please bear with me. But he is a realist, and so he encourages us to educate children to be good people so that they can create the world that we have yet to create. The Dalai Lama has long been talking about the Buddhist principles of compassion, kindness, morality, and ethics and value they add to the world. Slowly, these ideas have pre-mediated. How far can one man sway the entire world? Even a slight shift in the right direction is enormous. The Dalai Lama's ideas on leadership have inspired me, and His Holiness has served as a role model for me professionally when I helped design a program meant to bring out the potential of a company's leadership. I kept in mind his words. We are part of 7 billion people and we are all connected. The success of any organization requires effective operations and teamwork at every level. I also applied the Buddhist theory of mental transformation to my work. The theory states that there are 3 levels of understanding: understanding through critical reflection, understanding through critical hearing, understanding through critical learning, and understanding through critical internalization. Leaning on all these principles, I was able to achieve the goal set before me professionally, and I have the Dalai Lama to thank for it. Visionary leader. The Dalai Lama is a visionary leader. And when you visualize your community to change, you see it, you have to feel it within, you see it and you put it into practice, and you use your community, you use the people, you help build uh, a foundation. The Dalai Lama has dedicated his life to promoting peace and nonviolence and was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1989 for his endeavor. In his acceptance speech, he paid tribute to the man who founded the modern tradition of nonviolent action for change, which was the Mahatma Gandhi, which I have to research too, whom he credits for inspiring him. He accepted the prize on behalf of the oppressed everywhere and of all those who have struggled for freedom and worked for world peace, and on behalf of 6 million Tibetan people, my brave countrymen and women inside Tibet, who have suffered and continue to suffer so much. They confront a calculated and systematic strategy aimed at the destruction of their national and cultural identity. And this is going on worldwide. This is going on worldwide. The prize reaffirms our convictions that with truth, courage, and determination as our weapons, Tibet, Tibet will be liberated. And I also say, we will all be liberated when we work with a space of love, compassion, understanding, of nonviolence within our community, within our culture, within our religions. And we have the courage to speak up for the injustice and speak up from a space of love and compassion and understanding. That's how you win. Asked how he felt about winning this prestigious award. The Dalai Lama replied that it doesn't mean anything. It didn't mean anything to him. He is pleased for the people. He wanted to win the award. He explained, when I received my first announcement, I was in the United States, USA. Some media people wanted to meet me. I said, this prize is nothing to me. I'm just a simple Buddhist monk. No more, no less. I considered this prize a recognition of my contribution to peace. And that's also something that I want for all of us. Find peace. Stop hurting one another. You are all my brothers and sisters. Doesn't matter your culture. We can all have a life of so much joy and peace. When the Dalai Lama said this, I didn't get a sense that he was trying to be humble. I felt he genuinely doesn't care for accolades. Then he laughed and added, Bishop Tutu told me, before the Peace Prize, it is difficult to go to the White House. After the prize, it is much easier to visit such a place. Tibetan told me that before winning the Nobel Prize, His Holiness walked about freely in Dharmasala. I don't know how to say that. Even when he traveled overseas, the media didn't bother him. They simply didn't know who he was. Winning the Nobel Prize changed all that. It certainly expanded his global reach. The smiley face of the Dalai Lama has graced so many books and magazines, covers that he is familiar to us. To start with, he is relinquished his political authority. In 2011, he effectively ended 400-year-old tradition in which the Dalai Lama serves as a political and religious head of Tibet. Since then, he has no political power and is not constrained by politics. As a result, his concerns extends to all humanity rather than being limited to a specific country. The simple monk is without a country and lives as a refugee in a remote, hard-to-get hillside city at the edge of the Himalayas in India. After a decade of helping settle the exiled community in various parts of India, building schools and attempting to preserve Tibetan culture, the Dalai Lama began his global travels. He has dedicated the rest of his life to three main commitments. I love this. To encourage people to be happy by helping them understand that the basic human values of compassion and love are two necessities in life. Two, to support interreligious understanding and harmony. And three, to promote the preservation of Tibetan language and culture and the protection of the Tibetan natural environment. Unlike the majority of the world's leaders, his focal point isn't the next year election or the cycle, but encompasses the well-being of future generations. He understands that changes take time and believes that he won't be alive to see the fruit of the changes he promotes. He is wholeheartedly dedicated to using his mind and speech to help others achieve happiness and eliminate suffering. That is the goal. And that's what Jesus came here to do as well, to eliminate suffering. Helping others to develop inner peace. He says, give me great satisfaction, inner strength, and a meaning to my life. This is my primary commitment for the rest of my life. He does not seek followers. Nonetheless, people seek him. His books are bestsellers and thousands travel to attend his teachings. Tickets to his teachings are routinely sold out in minutes. The Dalai Lama has emerged a highly respected and loved global leader. He has a compelling vision for humanity. He proposes nothing less than a revolution, although not a political and economical or even an uprising. None of those external approaches have solved the world's problems. He explains the great movement of the last 100 years are more democracy, liberalism, socialism have all failed to deliver the universal benefits they have supposed to provide despite many wonderful ideas. The Dalai Lama offers a vision for humanity in which the different approaches to understanding ourselves, each other, and our world can be integrated in a spiritual and an ethical revolution. This revolution starts deep with us, deep within us. Ethical leader. Although the Dalai Lama says that individuals need to take responsibility for change in order for the world to become a kinder and more peaceful place, he also believes individual governments need to solve some problems of the some of the problems in the world. Besides asking us to dig deeper into our minds to master our own selves. He has been advocating changes in institutions, education, our natural environment, into religious harmony and peace and discernment which he says needs to be addressed by a larger institutions of power so that the changes could continue to change. Educating future generations. The Dalai Lama has always championed education for children. When the Tibetan diaspora arrived in India, he took care of the children first by asking his sister to build schools. We are able to make changes if we all stick together. The Dalai Lama believes that children hold the key to a more peaceful, kinder, egalitarian world. Modern education, the Dalai Lama believes, is too orientated towards how to achieve material well-being. We cannot fault children who have had 12 to 15 years of training limited on material well-being. And the concept that competition and winning are what matters. That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who, we don't need to compete against each other. That's not who we are. To create a more compassionate world, education must be reorientated to show children the needs and rights of others, as well as developing warm hearted heartness and compassion. The result of integrating the principles of nonviolence and peace. Peaceful conflict resolutions at school. It's very important. The Dalai Lama believes is that children will be more both aware of their feelings and the emotions and feel a greater sense of responsibility both towards themselves and toward the wider world. To live a truly ethical life, we need to start with children. Education must be open. Education must open children's eyes to see the needs and rights of others. And furthermore, they need to learn that their actions have a universal dimension. The Dalai Lama believes that to truly reimagine human flourishing, children need to transform the values and attitude they hold towards each other so that compassionate and loving kindness form the basis for all their interactions, and that the children accept and embrace their roles as local and global citizens. The Dalai Lama is the power. The Dalai Lama is a believer in the power of the individual and a cheerleader for the children. Look at the children praying. Young children praying, understanding, love, compassion, kindness, not violence, not how you say competing against one another, knowing the importance of our world, our environments, ethical values, moral values, religion, culture, who, as the next generation, have the potential to realize the benefits and fulfill the responsibilities related to the interdependence of humanity. The Dalai Lama is one of the earliest leaders to advocate environmental protection. In fact, his citation for the 1989 Nobel Peace Prize states this: the Dalai Lama has developed his philosophy of peace from a great reverence of all things living and upon the concept of the universal responsibility, embracing all mankind as well as nature. In the opinion of the community of the Dalai Lama has come forward with constructive and forward-looking proposal for the solution of international conflict, human rights issues, and global environmental problems. We need to make this world a better place. We need to make our environment safe, healthy, loving, and it starts with our children. The Dalai Lama has been a strong advocate for treating the environment with respect and has framed the environmental movement as part of our universal responsibility. We are all responsible for our planet. Whatever goes on, or whatever we are doing to our planet, we are all responsible for it. We need to take care of Mother Gaia. In his autobiography, he states, as a boy studying Buddhism, I was taught the importance of a caring attitude towards the environment. He brings the Buddhist approach of interdependence into his framework. Although we do not believe that trees or flowers have minds, we treat them also with respect. Thus, we share a sense of universal responsibility for both mankind and nature. The Dalai Lama believes that nature is an integral part of the web of life. I also believe that. Whereas we tend to see nature as a resource separate from ourselves, and it's not. We are all interconnected, we are all connected. Since the early years of exile, Dalai Lama has taken an interest in the environmental issues, introducing ecology to the children. And she has taken photographs of many Earth Days trips where students collect trash thrown in the forests and hills. The Dalai Lama loves nature stems from his childhood. My chief memory of the 3 month journey across Tibet from my birthplace to Tasker is in the east to Lhasa, where I was formally proclaimed Dalai Lama as a 4-year-old boy, is of the wildlife we encountered along the way. Immense herds, Tibetan wild ASS, and wild yak freely roamed the Great Plains. Occasionally, we would catch sight of shimmering herds of Goa, of Wa, the white-lipped deer, or of Tosa, the majestic antelope. I remember, too, my fascination for the little sheepy, or pika, which would congregate on grassy areas. They were so friendly. I loved to watch the birds. Dignified Gho, the bearded eagle, the soaring high above the monasteries, perched up in the mountains, the flocks of geese, and occasionally at night to hear the call of the long-eared owl. Delightful descriptions of the young boy's journey that would transform his life forever gives us a glimpse into what he found joyful. The animals, nature. Sadly, the Tibet imprinted in his memory is no longer every Tibetan he has spoken to report it on the absence of wildlife and the devastations of Tibetan forests. This is a major concern, not only for Tibetans. The importance of Tibetan's plateau is colossal. It contains the Hindu Kush Himalaya mountain range, the original of 10 major rivers basins, Asia. And they give a whole bunch, I don't know these words. I don't. But if you want, there are 10 in Asia. Indus, Indus, Mekong, Salween, different names, yellow rivers, known as the world's third pole. It forms the largest area of ice covered outside the North and South Pole. Glaciers were Glaciers there are depleting faster than ever, faster than anywhere else on Earth. Nearly 1.9 billion people live in the 10 river basins, and more than 3 billion people are sustained by food produced in this area. This region is home to diverse cultures, languages, religion, religions, and traditional knowledge systems. This region is undergoing rapid change driven by stressors such as climate change, human conflict, infrastructures development, migration, urbanization, and tourism. The outcome of these complex drivers of change will have major global consequences. But we rebuke that because we know that we're going to make this world a better world. We're going to make changes to this world. I believe that 100%. I've heard the Dalai Lama say many times, Earth is our home, and it's our interest to look after it. Yet, not only, yet we not only, yet we not only don't take good care of it, we abuse it. He is imploring us to find ways of manufacturing that doesn't destroy our limited natural resources. He says we may rely on technology to solve problems when the environment doesn't need to be fixed. The solution to the environmental problems, global warming, pollution, depleting of resources, and ecological disorders rests within us. We're the ones who are causing. We need to change our behavior and exercise restraints. I want to continue. The Dalai Lama is the leading advocate of interreligious understanding and harmony and the prevention of conflict based on religious difference. I love this. In one of the earliest talks he gave on Buddhist Christian dialogue at the Harvard Divinity School in 1979, he said his contact with the West confirmed his conviction that having one religion for the world is impossible, and that we should not think our beliefs are superior to the belief of others. The Dalai Lama says that many of the world's problems and conflicts emerge because we have lost sight of the basic humanity that binds us as human family. He urges us not to put so much emphasis on how we differ, but think of our commonality instead. To start with, we should see each other as fellow human beings. The Dalai Lama believes that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Sorry. I lost my space. 1 second. It doesn't matter if a person is religious or not. What is more important is that they are good human beings. In fact, he says religion is a personal practice and should remain so. He explained how uncomfortable he was when he asked to teach Buddhism to over 8,000 Buddhists in France. I felt, this is him speaking, I felt uncomfortable to teach Buddhism in a non Buddhist country. If a non Buddhist came to teach us, we would feel uncomfortable. So, similarly, in non Buddhist countries, teaching Buddhism is not suitable. I was offered money to construct a Buddhist center in France. I told them this is not a Buddhist country. If you want to create a center either in Thailand or Sri Lanka or India, it would be welcome. I told them to respect our religions. For individuals, it is okay. But creating a big institution, I don't like that. On the surface, from a distance and superficial view, the Dalai Lama may appear to be the leader of a celebrity cult. He certainly has the charisma, and his laughter creates and unites people and transcends cultures. When the Dalai Lama teaches in the West, he believes that different religions should not compete for followers and converts. He usually begins his teaching by saying something to the effect of, I don't want you to be a non Buddhist or to be Buddhist. The Dalai Lama is not interested in gaining students, nor is he interested in proselytizing Buddhism. He thinks it's not only impractical, but wrong to do so, as it is disrespectful to other religions. In fact, whenever there are large teachings where most people are not Buddhists, he tells them that it is best if people keep their original religion or adopt religious practices that are found in their own culture background. His public talk of non Buddhist audiences covers subjects such as peace, happiness, compassion, ethics, the environment, and social gender issues. He has extracted the heart of a Buddhist teaching and made them pragmatic and applicable in the modern world. The Dalai Lama says, although there are many traditions in the world, each with unique philosophy, fundamentally, they all teach the same message of love, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, and self-discipline. All religions have the potential to create good human beings and help people lead meaningful lives. The Dalai Lama wants the world's religion to respect and value each other instead of focusing on philosophical differences. Doesn't matter. which has led to fighting and bloodshed. Religious harmony is critical to building a peaceful and a happy world. The Dalai Lama is global companion on interreligious dialogue and has facilitated numerous interfaith talks. He has made inroads in developing understanding and tolerance between world religions. The Dalai Lama distinguishes between individual practitioners and humanity. He feels individual practitioners must form their own truth based on their personal point of view. However, from a global perspective, there are many groups of individuals, each with many truths and many authentic paths. There is only one truth that is entirely valid and authentic for a given individual from his or her own personal point of view. But from a global point of view, referring to a group of many individuals, we have to say that there are many truths and many authentic paths. The Dalai Lama shows integrity. He's not leveraging religion on the contrary. He is an advocate of universal ethics and says that if faith is a source of problems, as it has been throughout history and continues to be, then we should just have common sense. Basically, common sense. I always said that. I was like, common sense. If people work with common sense. It's not a religion, culture, whatever. But common sense is very also powerful. This is a unique and refreshing way of thinking outside the box. The Dalai Lama is willing to do what is right for the global world, even if it means promoting a secular approach. Buddhism is not exception. He wants to be inclusive. He wants all 7 billion humans to be happy and live a fulfilling life. Just like me, I want you guys to also be living a full, peaceful, loving environment, a peaceful life. Who doesn't want to have peace in their life? Just wanted to, it's a lot, but I don't want to. The Dalai Lama, this is the Dalai Lama, the 14th Dalai Lama, I think, or the 16th. I forgot. Sorry. Sorry. I don't know how long, but I'm gonna try to finish this last page. The Dalai Lama brings a valuable alternative to a world weary of politicians and leaders who are not in tune with what is going on in the world. He brings new paradigms of positivity and hope. Yes. The Dalai Lama is a living model of the best qualities of a Buddhist monk. I had a past life as a Buddhist monk. Very thankful, anyway. The Dalai Lama is a living model of the best qualities of a Buddhist monk. He is a foundation of wisdom. He strives to perfect himself, and through this, he has become an example for others by his gentleness, wisdom, compassion, and good conduct. He is a giant among spiritual leaders and a model for genuine compassion, which can be experienced only when self absorption is eliminated and replaced with the desire to help others. He is a true servant leader. He who aspires to serve all of humanity. True compassion brings eternal sincerity and peace, which manifests as welcoming and understanding, all of which contributes to the promotion of peace and harmony. That is what we see when we meet the Dalai Lama. And through his eyes, he makes us feel that we too can attain true compassion and can live as warm hearted human beings in the harmony with each other. In addition to being a spiritual leader, he has had years of experience as leader of his people. In Tibet, he witnessed the full fury of destructive forces thundering down on his land and his people, and is still struggling to gain human rights and greater freedom for the Tibetan people in Tibet and the protection of the Tibetan natural environment. Instead of engaging in violence, the Dalai Lama has engaged in peaceful, nonviolent protests of the destruction of the Tibetan culture and environment. He proposed Tibet to be designated as a nuclear-free zone of peace where Tibetan people have the freedom to practice their culture, their human rights, and democratic freedoms are respected, and Tibetan natural environment is restored and protected. Despite the hardship he has encountered and the horrendous news he hears from his people in Tibet, he has, as we have witnessed, a sense of calmness derived from having inner peace of mind. That's the best place, that's the best way to live when you have a peaceful mind. No matter what is going outside, when you are in peace within your own self, you don't let outside sources disrupt. That's a master. You master your own self. And Tibetan natural environment is restored and protected. Despite he has witnessed a sense of calmness derived from his inner peace of mind. There is sadness, but not despair. With a calm and focused mind, he has rebuilt a modernized community in exile. Under his leadership, the Tibetan diaspora has made a transition from ancient hereditary rule to democratically elected leaderships. Under his guidance, the Tibetans have been able to practice and persevere their culture. In doing so, they have shown us the importance in human values such as compassion and loving kindness. He speaks to us with the voice of optimism. His engagement is convincing because he speaks of a very compelling truth. The Dalai Lama has said that his power is his motivation, his sincerity, and his inner truth. His compassion, kindness, wisdom, and generosity towards us moves and inspires us. People around the world realize that everything in life has potential to be deeper and more meaningful. They seek fundamental change. For those seeking enduring happiness, he has become a source of light. The actions that make him human rather than a deity, walking, talking, and laughing, are ever present and often made me forget that he is the Dalai Lama. He is not an exceptional being or a deity, which many Tibetans believe him to be, but a great example of what a human being can be. The Dalai Lama doesn't explicitly tell us what to do and how to live our lives. He says when we listen to his teachings, we must critically examine what he says and take the part we agree with. At the end of the interview with the Dalai Lama, he said the same thing to me. He told me to tell the story I believe in. The Dalai Lama works in ways which make sense. In hindsight, I understand why he gave me access to him. Had I relied on his interview, I would have missed observing how he guides and coaches people. I observed how he connects with everyone he meets. I also observed that people feel genuinely happy when they meet him. His love and kindness are inclusive, and he accepts us as who we are, unconditionally. The Dalai Lama evokes emotions from people. When people see the portrait of the Dalai Lama meditating, they burst into spontaneous smiles. He exudes warmth and compassion. You want to continue to read this book? I encourage people to read this book. Very good book. This is the prayer that the Dalai Lama, this prayer reflects the wisdom and compassion of the Dalai Lama. May I become at all times, both now and forever, a protector for those without protection, a guide for those who have lost their way, a ship for those with sea, a ship for those with ocean to cross, a bridge for those with river to cross, a sanctuary for those in danger, a lamp for those in danger, a lamp for those without light, a place of refuge for those who lack shelter, and a servant to all in need. And this is the Dalai Lama holding the mandala, the mala beads, holds them in his right hand. I want to say thank you. Thank you to all of you. That gold was in today's life was kindness, find unconditional love within yourself so that way it's reflected outside on the world. Let's take care of our people. Let's take care of our planet, our environment. Let's teach our kids how to become great leaders because they're going to be the leaders of the world for tomorrow. Our grandchildren, our children. Teach them how to pray to the most, whatever religion, whatever religion you are in. Make sure it's coming from a space of love and understanding for all, because we are all one. We are all God's children, and we are here to help the collective. We are here to just live our birthrights, how God intended us all to live. Non-violent, no competition, space of love and kindness and compassion for all. I love you all. Have a good night. Stay blessed. and pray for one another. Namaste. Bye.